I'm going to share with you the only 3 ways that you can boost your enduro speed by 50% without riding every day, without spending thousands on motor work, without having to go and buy A-kit suspension, without living with a riding coach, or following a strict pro-level training program that requires every waking minute that you have, so you can actually hit your racing goals and kick ass when it comes to race day. So we're going to have a look at a video here from Yami Solar, who's put together some great footage from the Wild Boar GNCC, which is plenty of sand, plenty of testing skills, testing bike setup, testing fitness. So what I'm going to introduce you to is what I call the race ready triangle. These are the only 3 areas that you can tap into to be able to get better results on race day and to be able to be faster. There's literally no other areas that you could possibly work on outside of these 3 areas in the race ready triangle. So we're going to tackle them, and we're going to look at some of this footage, and I'm going to show you how it actually applies to your riding and race day so you can perform at your best. The first part of the race ready triangle is bike setup. Okay, so what is bike setup? Bike setup just means having the bike set up for your riding ability and for your body weight. So for these guys, it could be like having the suspension set up, the back suspension, having the forks set up properly, having the handlebars and like front brake and clutch set up in the right position, having the gear lever and the back brake set up in the right position, having the suspension set up for your body weight, making sure that the bike is dialed in and ready to go. Reason that it's important to have your bike set up is because the better it is set up for your riding style and for your body weight, the easier it is to ride. It's easier to get in the positions that you need to get into on the bike. So skills wise, it makes things a lot easier because you're going to be able to do the things that your riding coach or that you've seen on YouTube and actually put them into action. Okay, a lot easier. And you're also going to use less energy. If the bike's getting head shake all the time and it keeps kicking you in the ass every time you go over the bumps, even though you're in the right position, then you're going to be holding on for dear life. You're going to be getting a lot of arm pump. Your body's going to be working 10 times harder than what it needs to, which is obviously going to affect your speed. So when I was racing, so if you look at some of these guys, obviously they've got like factory connection forks, which are some of the forks that I had when I was racing. There's a few things that I had done. I had like shower suspension, which was done by factory connection. I had the motor sent over to Pro Circuit. I had new bike every couple of years. Okay, so like in terms of bike setup for me when I was racing, that was like at an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. Everything I would say was pretty well dialed in. Everything was like up there with the newest stuff. Wasn't A-kit suspension or top of the line stuff, but it was definitely a lot more than standard. The bike was definitely set up for me. That wasn't something that held me back. In terms of bike setup, there's different levels, right? There's like a 0 out of 10 fix, and there's all the way up to 10 out of 10 like A-kit suspension and having a suspension technician come to the track with you for every ride and every race. We'll have someone like that throwing water on you to help cool you down. There's not too many races that you see that. Must be quite warm there. So there's different levels of fixes. Different levels of fixes for different riding abilities. If you're a C-grade rider and you go and get A-kit suspension, probably not going to be worth it. If you're a professional rider in the top 10 in the Pro Motocross or World Enduro, then getting A-kit suspension probably is worth it. Okay, it probably is going to give you that increase in performance. So as a starting point, if you're a racer that works during the week and you race on the weekend, then more than likely you're going to fall in the bracket of just making sure you have the bike set up for your ability. The A-kit stuff and getting the motor work done, even for me, when I had it done for my racing, I would say was overkill. It wasn't what I needed to be able to perform at my best. It was actually one of the other steps, which I'm going to get to. Where most riders go wrong here is they put all of their time, their effort, their money, their resources. We actually got a moto ad for once, that's nice. They put all of their time, effort, money, and energy into getting the bike set up and getting the bike dialed in. And the problem is with that is that you're only limited by these next 2 things. So it doesn't matter how good your suspension is if you can't ride the bike properly. It doesn't matter how fast your motor is if you can't ride the bike fast, flat out, all the way through the race. So yes, bike needs to be set up, but there's a certain point where the bike needs to stop being set up. You need to stop focusing your time, your energy, your effort, your resources on bike, and start to focus on the rider, which is what we're going to get to in these next 2 points. The second area is rider skill. So I want you to have a look here at these riders. So have a look at this particular rider here. Going through this, that was an interesting line. If you have a look at this rider here that's sitting down, maybe for that particular rider, they could have been standing up and they could have been up on the pegs, okay? Maybe they've got a skill problem there. Maybe they're really tired, or maybe that's the easiest way to get through that section, and I've just got no idea what I'm talking about from simply just looking at the video. So the reason that rider skill is important is because that's going to dictate how fast you can ride, okay? So the better your skill is, the faster your lap times will be, the faster your sprint times will be. If you don't have that speed, then it doesn't matter. If you don't have the speed, even if you're really, really fit and you've got the best bike setup, it's not going to matter. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be going through the race and you're not even going to have the speed to be up with the guys that you want to stay with. So you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. That's why it's important. For me, with rider skill, did a heap of riding clinics over my 14 years of racing. Did stuff with Greg Moss, did stuff with Paul Broomfield, did stuff with Stephen Gore, was like the off-road riding academy, I think it was. And there was other courses sprinkled in there as well, but they were the main coaches that I can remember. And again, there's different levels of fixes for this, right? On a scale of 1 to 10. I just go to the track and I do a bit of riding, and that's how I improve my skills. To 10 out of 10, I go and do camps with a riding coach, or go and spend, do all of my riding with a riding coach all the time, and I'm always dialing in my skills and technique. So if you have a look at like these tougher, sandier sections there, the better the skills that you can get, especially for a track like this where it's really sandy, the more efficient you're going to be on the bike. The more efficient you are on the bike, the less energy you use, so the less fitness you're tapping into, but also going to allow you to be able to set up the bike properly. Because if you can ride the bike properly and you can get it set up properly, then you're going to be working together well and have a good combination between bike and rider. Where most riders go wrong here is they over-capitalise on riding skills. They always think that their riding skills need to be better. They're like, oh, I'm getting arm pump and my body gets sore, so I just need to get better at skills, and I need to not hang on as much, and I need to relax more, and I need to do this and I need to do that. And those things may be true. However, if you just keep pouring all your time and effort into riding skills, but your bike's not set up properly, then you're going to be capped. There's going to be a limit there, right? And the same is if you just keep putting your time, your effort, your energy into riding skills all the time, but you don't have the fitness and strength and endurance to be able to go a full race at race speed, then it's also not going to matter. Because what's going to happen is you'll start the race at your race speed, riding how you should be, and you're just going to drift through the pack and go backwards as you get to the end of the race. Your lap times are going to drop off, you're going to start to fade, you're going to make stupid mistakes, you're going to spend more time picking up the bike than you are actually riding it because you're starting to fatigue. So again, it doesn't matter how good your skills are or how good your bike setup is for that, you're still going to be limited by your fitness and your endurance. So you always have to be working on the weakest link, the thing that is holding you back the most. The third thing that, the third area of the race ready triangle is rider endurance. It's actually making sure the rider, I've never seen that before with the bottle hanging off the front of the helmet. It's literally the first time I've ever seen that. In a whole, 20, 25 years of being around bikes. Rider endurance, right? The rider has to have the endurance to be able to go the full race at race speed. Even if the bike's not set up properly, even if they don't have the skills, you can still, if you've got the fitness and strength there, you can still ride the bike at a consistent hard speed all the way through the race. You might be limited by bike setup, you might be limited a little bit by skill, but if you've got the fitness and strength there, you can keep pushing and pushing and pushing, even if the bike is treating you like shit. Okay? And so the reason it's important is because if the bike's set up awesome at a 10 out of 10 and you've got A-kit suspension and had the motor done like I did, but you don't have the fitness and strength endurance there, it's not going to matter. It literally doesn't matter if you had a factory bike. It would not matter. It would not get you better results on race day. You would not ride faster. You would not be able to perform at a higher level. Okay, you might be able to go faster for a shorter period of time, for a couple of laps or the first half hour or the first hour, but in terms of overall results, it's not going to be able to help you because it's not the thing holding you back. It's the fitness. And that was the problem for me. I did 5 years of club level swimming. I did spin classes 3 to 4 times a week. I went and did CrossFit. I did gym and like weight stuff and machines. I did push-ups at home in my bedroom. Okay, I did all of that stuff and still couldn't put in a full race at race speed. So the pro circuit motor I had and the factory connection shower suspension that I had and the pro circuit linkage that I had set up on my bike, all of that sort of stuff that we put a whole heap of time, effort and money into didn't matter. It didn't actually help me to get better results on race day. And it didn't help me to get better results on race day because I didn't have the strength and fitness and the endurance there. I didn't have those things dialed in. And again, there's different levels of fixes. Swimming and going to the gym and making up my own stuff and doing some spin classes, it was like a 2 out of 10 for building fitness for the bike. And there's all the way up to the other end, which is like what we do with our Faster Laps program at a 10 out of 10, which are programming nutrition specifically designed for riding and racing. There is nothing that you can do that's better than that, because this is specifically dialed in for those things, for riding and for racing and for getting out on the bike. It's not designed for general population or for people who come off the street and want to build some general fitness, or it's not built for cyclists. It's built specifically for riders and racers, okay? And so you've got everything in between. So the problem I had with my racing is all of my fitness and stuff was like a 2 out of 10. It's like I was doing swimming. Like, have a look at these guys here while they're riding, right? They're not swimming. They're not doing any motions that even resemble swimming. And yeah, I was spending 4 times a week doing swimming. So no wonder it wasn't actually helping. Same with spin classes. Well, these guys have got a bike that probably weighs 110 kilos, plus a rider at maybe 90 kilos. That's a total of 200 kilos that these guys have to wrestle around through all of this sand, right? There's no amount of cycling that I could have possibly done. I was doing 3 or 4 nights a week of spin classes for 45 minutes to an hour. There's no amount of spin classes. Even if I quit my work, quit school, and just did cycling classes all day, I still wouldn't be able to build the strength I need to be able to wrestle around 200 kilos. Okay, I needed the strength, but I didn't do that stuff. Again, because the fix I had for fitness was like a 2 out of 10. Okay, it was one of the least effective ways to build fitness and strength for the bike, which is why I didn't have that. And because of that, it didn't matter. All those courses and things that I did with Greg Moss and Paul Brimfield and Stephen Gall, all the stuff that I had done to the bike to be able to get it set up, all those 2 things didn't matter. It was great to have it. It was cool. But it didn't actually help me to get better results on race day, because I didn't have the strength, the fitness, the endurance to be able to make it all the way through at race speed, okay? Riding on tracks like this. Riding on tracks like this would absolutely kill me. I would get out there, I'd be struggling to hang on, I'd be sitting down, I'd be taking lines that were smooth, I'd be backing it off when I know I should be holding the throttle on, okay? I'd be using the brakes a lot less and just coasting around the track, and then I'd just be dropping back through the pack. Or even worse, there'd be some races where I know I'm going to be cooked, like a track like this, and I'd back it off from the start. I'd have to try and save energy to be able to survive through the race, which is not racing, is it? Racing is not survival. Racing is attacking and being able to push through right to the end. So if I had my time again, that's what I would do. I would redirect some of my resources. Instead of going and getting a pro circuit motor, which I definitely didn't need, I would put that money into actually getting myself ready and making sure that I was training properly and had my body ready. Once I had my body ready, once I was able to ride a full race at race speed all the way through consistently, and I could do that, then I could stop focusing all my attention on it, and then I could go back to focusing on bike setup and focusing on being able to get my skills dialed in, because I actually would have got the most out of it, rather than just wasting time, effort, and money, which is what a lot of riders and racers do. I've put together a benchmark sheet that we use with our riders, which will give you level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for some exercises that you can use for strength and for your conditioning to see what level your strength and fitness is at and see what areas you need to improve. You need to be at roughly a level 4. That's what we're working towards. So I'm going to attach a free copy of that. You can download it. I'll put the link down in the comments or in the description. Download it, have a look, outline. If you look at it and you look at those exercises and you go, shit, I don't even do those exercises, that's definitely a key indicator that your bike fitness and bike strength is not on target. You're not doing the right things off the bike to be able to help you on the bike. So grab a copy of that, outline everything, see what you need to work on, and start mapping out a plan to be able to get there.